In an increasingly polarizing world, sports allow people from all backgrounds and with different ideologies to join together in supporting the same team or player without question. Nothing else can claim to do this with such frequency and passion as sports. The Locker Room focuses on local sports and highlights the achievements made by our prep and collegiate sports from around the Spokane area. Justin Reed, former sports editor at the Gonzaga Bulletin and current sports reporter at the Spokesman Review, grew up in Spokane where he attended Meade High School and later went on to graduate from Gonzaga University in 2017 with a degree in journalism. Now, here's your host, Justin Reed.
Hello and welcome back to the Locker Room. This is the third show, and for the first time, I have a couple high school athletes here with you. These are the Carvers, Hannah and Megan. Hannah's the closest one to me. I get confused, so I'm going to try and lay that out for you. Megan's the next one. So these juniors are going to be juniors next year at University High School, where they play tennis. They are also junior racquetball champions, but the uniqueness of their story goes beyond just the tennis and racquetball. They also are great students as well. Just a couple weeks ago, you guys competed at the Junior National Olympic Racquetball Championships?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad I got the name down there. So that was in Iowa, and in November, you guys did very well, right?
Yes.
So you guys won your doubles. You guys work together. So is that tough, being sisters and also being teammates? Is there anything difficult about that?
I mean, there's times when we get upset with each other, but I think this last tournament at Nationals, there was none of that.
Yeah, I think as we get older, we've gotten a lot better at, not getting mad at each other, and it's more like a team thing.
So you guys had a lot of fun, though?
Yeah.
We did.
So the result was great, of course. Do you guys do this every year? Does this happen every year? And how do you qualify for something like that?
Yeah, well, so the national tournament, there's not really a qualifier. Anyone can come, but in order to make it to the World Championships, you have to be a winner in the doubles at nationals or a finalist in singles.
And we've gone to nationals every year since we were about 10, 11.
I think the first nationals we went to was Oregon. That was how we got into it, because it wasn't that far of a drive and stuff. And it was 2011.
Okay.
That was our first nationals. So we've been playing ever since then.
So you guys, have you won this tournament before? Or won at least your bracket before?
Well, yeah, last year, we played doubles together, but I also played doubles with another girl in a different division, and we won that division last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So November is a trip to Mexico for the international or the world side of that tournament. I was talking to your dad out in the back there, and it's awesome. It's in Mexico, right? It's gonna be so much fun, but at the same time, it's a business trip. It's in a very nice place. Where else have you guys traveled around the world, around the country, that really stands out to you guys?
In 2014, we went to Cali, Colombia for Worlds, and that was a really cool experience. It was so different from, that was our first Worlds, so it was so different from, everything we'd known before.
And the layout of the facility, too, is just different in itself, where it was all outside.
Oh, wow.
So, the court still had 4 walls, but you walked out of a court and you were in the, Columbia heat.
Grass.
Yeah, the grass, basically. And they had, bamboo roofs and stuff. But we also got a lot of rain when we were there, and the courts flooded one day.
Oh, boy.
And we almost had to, stay the night at the gym because we didn't have buses to take us back to the hotel. So it was definitely a different experience.
So does that happen, in other places? Is there other times that you've heard where there's interesting court setups? I mean, I feel like that's kind of...
Well, this club that we're playing at this year has...
In Mexico.
in Mexico has interesting courts. They have,
it's
10
a tile.
feet of the wall is, tile. Instead of, panel or concrete.
Yeah, so usually it's panel or concrete, but in Mexico they have 10 feet of tile and then 10 feet of concrete.
So does that...
marble, I guess.
In Colombia where it's outdoor, I mean, does that alter the way you guys play? Because I feel like the humidity in the court would get slippery.
It was also...
was terrible.
And they couldn't surface the floors because of the humidity, so it was... I mean, the floors, you would dive on them and you would get like burns all over
fun.
your legs
Just
and
the
stuff.
awesome stuff about
Yeah.
racquetball, right?
Yeah, it was very different.
So when you guys go to the national tournament, do you guys have like Washington on your jerseys, or how does that work when it comes to the national one?
We don't. It's on like scorecards and brackets and stuff. So people know we're from Washington, but there's no specific like Team Washington that we're representing while we're there.
So what about the world one? Are you guys gonna have USA?
Yes,
Okay.
we get
On everything.
full USA uniforms for the World Championship.
So
And
I know
they're
you-
very strict on what we wear there.
Oh, really? So
Yes.
what kind of talk to me about the dress policy?
Well, you have to have your country's name on the front and back of your shirt. And then
Partners
for
have to
doubles,
match, like exactly.
yeah,
Like,
identically, you have to match. And this year they're kind of changing it a little bit. It has to be the provider that we wear, which
Okay.
is rollout.
So that's so interesting. So I know when I talked to you guys in the fall before tennis season, that was one thing you guys really talked about was, you get to wear your team's colors. You get to wear the United States on, now on the front and the back. I mean, how cool is that to be able to represent your country at a world tournament, going up against other countries throughout the world?
It's so cool.
I
like
love it.
nobody else like that we know really gets to do that. So it's really cool, and especially like seeing like all the other countries there too, like wearing their countries, and like it's just so cool.
It's also kind of a tradition when at the end of the tournament where we trade jerseys with other countries. So that's a cool like souvenir thing that we get to do.
So what are some of the countries you have that you've been able to trade with?
We haven't yet.
Yeah, okay. So this
no.
is something you're
This
very
is-
much looking forward to
Yes.
then.
In the past few years, we've been just kind of saving up our uniforms,
Yeah.
but now we can trade the old ones for.
Any countries in particular you're like, I want that country?
I think
Mexico.
Mexico has
Mexico
cool
always
ones.
has cool
Korea
ones.
has really cool ones.
What
as
makes them
well.
cool? Just the colors and like the design and things like
colors
that?
Yeah.
and designs.
All right. So, we're looking, like right now the World Cup's going on. So that you see those players wearing their country's colors. The United States didn't make it. So is it, I couldn't imagine personally what it's like to be able to have that sort of pride and, just the motivation to be able to play well. I feel like, I'm competitive, but I feel like if I'm wearing red, white, and blue and I got to go out there and win, I don't know. Is that the same for you guys? Is there just that little bit more that you just makes you want to
It's
play
more
better?
like at nationals you're kind of only competing for yourself,
Mhm.
but like at worlds you're competing for like your whole team.
I think it helps too. When we go to Worlds, we have a big team, of 20 kids on the World Cup team, and everyone is always there, cheering each other on. So it gets super loud and super rowdy, and it's just a different atmosphere than it would be at a normal tournament.
Do you know, is there any way to watch this? Like, is there an online stream anywhere?
There is.
Yes. The International Racquetball Federation streams it from the IRF website, and usually they start streaming 3 days into the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how we're going to watch you guys, right? So you talked about how your first World was in 2011, or your first Nationals was in 2011. You guys obviously been playing for a while. This doesn't just happen overnight. When did you guys start playing racquetball?
We started playing. Our first tournament was when we were 7 years old, but we were in the racquetball court basically when we could walk, and we would just, without any instructions or anything, just like hit around and kind of make up our own games until we were old enough to be able to pick it up.
And follow the rules
Yeah.
without making your own rules. So you also play next door at the Spokane Club.
Yep.
You guys have, I would assume, if I remember right, you guys have a guy that you work with a lot. What is it like being able to train, someone who's able to, in town, where you're able to go and train and practice? Does it make it easier so that like, hey, this is where I'm going every single day this week leading up to this tournament? Is it nice being able to have that?
It's really nice.
So who do you work out with the most over there?
Our dad.
Usually just our dad. Yeah. But it does help because he'll always come with us and he'll always train with us, and we don't have to have a certain schedule. We can be at home saying let's go to the club, and then we can.
And most players too, like their coaches live like even in different states, so they only get to train with them like every so often, but like we get to train with our coach every single day.
Yeah, and he's there at every tournament and every match, and it's something that not everyone gets.
So, and I know I talked to you guys about this in the fall. How fun is it to play against your dad, and does he still have it? Does he still have his skills that he's acquired throughout his life?
Yep, he still beats us.
He still beats you guys.
Yep.
Well, how does that happen?
He's good.
How did he become a racquetball player? Did he play competitively as well?
No,
he
started a lot later.
playing when he was kind of our age, but didn't start playing competitively until he was in college.
Interesting. So, what makes him good? How does he beat you guys? What is his best? What is his trait that gives him the edge?
I think some of it is power. He's a lot stronger than us.
So he doesn't take it easy on you guys?
No, not at all.
All right, well, that's all right. I mean, you guys obviously are good, so it's nice to have a coach who pushes you and you know, at least knowing from my experience as an athlete, my dad was the same way. I mean, you're not gonna go easy on you because they want you to do the best that you can do. The rest of your family, any other racquetball players in your family? Any other athletes?
Yes, our younger sister went to nationals too. She plays, and our mom played for a while, but she isn't anymore. Yeah. So
to anyone outside of your direct family, is there any other people who play racquetball?
Not really.
So it's just you four who are the racquetballers. That's interesting because it's not a sport that it's not like, oh yeah, my dad played basketball in college. Is it weird to like, or not weird, but whenever you tell people like, we're really good racquetball players, are they ever shocked? Because I feel like that's such a sport that no one ever thinks about.
I think it's a sport that not a lot of people really know about either. I think some people will be like, oh, is it just like indoor tennis?
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's a lot of people don't really know about it, and the people that do know about it haven't really experienced the competitive level that we play at.
I don't think a lot of people know how much of like a fast sport it actually is and how competitive it is. They just like most people, people even know what it is, like they just go in there to play for fun. And I know a lot of our like guy friends and stuff would be like, oh, I could beat you, and it's like, no, you couldn't.
I had a very good friend of mine. Actually, two of my very good friends played tennis in high school, and they played racquetball, they played pickleball, and I always thought like, I could pick it up pretty quick, right? I could go and play well, and I just played with one of them pickleball like a week and a half ago, and I got destroyed. I mean, we were playing, I think, to 21, and I was lucky if I scored 2 or 3 points against them because it's. I'm a fairly good. I have good hand-eye coordination, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't know what it is. But let's take a quick break. We'll kind of talk more about your tennis careers because that's a little bit different. Same thing. It's a ball and a racket, but a little bit different, right? Yeah. All right. So we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll see you right back.
They say it takes a community to raise a family. It also takes one to build a business. I came to Spokane 12 years ago as a Whitworth student, and I planned to leave after graduation. But the more I got to know this community, the more I wanted to become a part of it. My husband and I have built our business in Spokane, and now we're raising our family here too. We operate a consulting company that provides creative business development strategies. Our approach is holistic and dependent on intentional connections and relationships. And no one understands connections and relationships better than GSI. They direct momentum towards investments in our community, provide resources that help business leaders connect, and they're dedicated and passionate about making Spokane great. GSI gives me the confidence to build my business here because they believe every organization, even a small one like mine, adds big value to our community. With GSI's help, Spokane will be a place my son will want to build his career too. I'm Eva Marquette, owner of Freshview. We're creating something greater with Greater Spokane Incorporated.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful, it needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The library district offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to social security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org.
Welcome back to the locker room. I have the Carvers here, international racquetball players. They have a lot of fun playing racquetball, of course, because they're very good. That would make it very enjoyable, I would assume. So I told you guys before I wasn't going to ask any individual questions, but there is one thing that I do want to ask. So, Hannah, you had hip surgery a couple years ago now. That obviously, I mean, you think of hips, they're very important, but I would assume very much in racquetball it's very lateral, a lot of movement there. Two parts. First off, how difficult was it not to be able to play? And then how difficult was it to get back to the level that you were at before?
It was very difficult not to play, especially I had to miss a nationals because of it. And so that was really hard, especially watching her play and like with other people. And like all my friends play and like me not being able to, like that was really hard. But then it was supposed to be a 6-month recovery. And I was like, I want to get back out there so bad. So I did like my exercise and stuff like every single day, like all the time, and worked my butt off. And then I got cleared in 4. So then, but even after that, it was really hard because like I hadn't played in like over, like at least 6 months. So like it was really hard coming back because everybody else was improving and like I was just still down here. And but I worked really hard and came back, but it was very difficult, especially even though I was like cleared and everything, like the pain was still there and like that lateral movement and stuff, there was like I was just felt really slow all the time. But
So and Megan, for you, I mean, like you said, you guys have been playing together since as long as you can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Was it tough not having kind of your partner in crime, your sister who you played against, who you work out with? Was it hard not having her? I mean, she was there. I mean, she told me how she would always be there watching, supporting you, but was it tough not being able to play with your sister?
Yeah, I played with one of our good friends who lives in California. But we didn't do very well. We just didn't connect very well. And Hannah and I sometimes can just, assume that someone's getting a ball or
you have that twin mindset, right?
Yeah.
You guys are connected, so like every single question I ask her, you already know what she's going to say, of course, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine that'd be tough, though. I mean, you guys do, outside of you guys are sisters, but you guys have been playing so long, I can imagine it was tough to not have that natural feel for, I know where she's going to be, she knows where I'm going to be, and we're just going to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of moves on. Let's move into tennis a little bit. So you've played for a few years, and this was your first year.
Yes.
So you guys told me that, and I would assume just from looking, it's a racket sport. It's probably fairly comparable, and it probably is, but at the same time, how tough is it to, now you're playing on a court with 4 walls, now all of a sudden there's no walls and there's a net. So what's the differences between the two?
I mean, when I first started like a couple months ago, we went and like hit on the ball machine. And I like going into it, I was like, this isn't going to be that hard, but I was like hitting every single ball into the net. And it was so frustrating, but like I wanted to make varsity so bad, so I went like every single day and like picked it up really quickly, surprisingly, but it was extremely hard at first.
I remember one of the first times I took Hannah out to play tennis. She was trying to serve it, and instead of like throwing the ball up, she bounced it on the ground to try and like hit it overhand.
It's a little bit of racquetball sneaking.
Yeah.
Was there a crowd? Was there a lot of people there watching? Or
No, it was
just you two?
Just us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I bet that gives you some good material to make fun of her about. So that's always perfect, right? So you guys did you guys play doubles together for tennis, or?
Leading into the tennis season, I took her out and we played in a tennis tournament. We played doubles together, and we did pretty well.
We got second.
Yeah, we got second, and it was, her first ever tennis tournament, and we did pretty well in that, but that was the only time we've ever played
she
together.
Won't play with me.
that was the deal. My coach, our high school tennis coach, was like, "You guys can both be on the team, but I'm never gonna make you play together."
Why is that for tennis?
I think it's just because, like, we have enough of each other, like, playing racquetball anyway, and I think because, like, she's just so more experienced than I am in tennis. Like, I mean, in racquetball, we don't really get mad at each other because we have the same amount of, like, skill and experience, but, like, in tennis, it's not like that. Like, she's obviously more skilled and experienced than I am.
She has a couple more years on you.
Yeah.
Right, there we go. We'll use that. Well, I mean, Coach Osborne, she was GSL Coach of the Year, so at least she has a little bit of, I mean, she's a good coach, obviously, so probably not the worst idea in the world. I mean, yeah, you guys obviously live together. You guys play racquetball together. You guys do everything together, so I can imagine how one more competitive sport might just cause a little bit more friction. But so what is, you guys have a very veteran, or a few veterans on the team for tennis. What are some of the things, I mean, is it hard to be taught how to play a sport that you think you already kind of know? Like, I feel like if I was really good at a sport and then played one that's so similar, how hard was it to adjust to have someone else other than, like, your dad coach you, for example?
I think for me, it's a little bit difficult because racquetball is a one-handed backhand. And so when I was playing tennis, I always, used a one-handed backhand. And then, I got into high school, and I've tried the past 2 years to get that two-handed backhand down, but I always, get it and then lose it. And I just go back to, what I know. So I think in that aspect.
Is there a reason why you guys wanted to take up tennis? Is that because it was, obviously racquetball isn't a sport that's offered through high school, so what's the reason for playing tennis?
I think just because it was a racket sport and it was something that I was familiar with and I wanted something else to do.
For me, it was more like, because I didn't play up until this year, and so I did track last year. But I had really bad shin splints the whole season. And so, like, going into, like, this spring season, I was like, do I want to do track again? And all, like, my friends and, like, on the team and, like, Coach Osborne were like, no, you, like, they've been trying to get me to play tennis forever. So they're like, you need to play tennis. And so then I, like, gave it some thought. And then, like, a month before the season, I was like, I'm going to play tennis. And then, yeah.
Just went from there.
Yeah.
So what you guys play against each other, I'd assume, in practice. Let's go back to racquetball. You guys go play against each other in racquetball. Who's more competitive? Are either one of you way more competitive than the other?
I
don't think so.
The same. Yeah. We're both very competitive. We both occasionally scream at each other.
Occasionally, sure. I feel like it could be very often, just because you guys are good and you guys want the best. So I feel like it could get a little chippy. Well, that's okay. That's a good thing, right? So I got confused. I had never met you guys in person before you guys came into the studio. You guys obviously look different, but you guys are twins. So is there the funniest story you guys can remember about being confused? Have you guys ever tried to confuse someone? Anything like that?
I don't think we've ever tried to confuse anyone.
I've seen the movie Parent Trap, and
yeah.
I think and that's what I was thinking about.
Not like racquetball or tennis related, but she played volleyball her freshman year, and I played soccer. And a girl on her volleyball team came up to me in my, like, soccer uniform, and she was like, Hannah, I didn't know you played soccer and volleyball. It's like, I don't.
That probably confused her. She's like, what are you doing? I was just playing with you earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good at least. I feel like that could be fairly common. But what is your favorite thing outside of racket sports? What is your favorite activity? We'll start with you.
Volleyball. I played volleyball this will be my 5th year. So
that's very different than racket sports. How'd you get into volleyball?
I think it's just something that, like, I always wanted to play, and so, like, when I was able to play it, like 7th grade middle school, I played, and it's just so I've played it ever since.
So for me, I don't play any sports other than racquetball and tennis now, but I'm really into art, so I do a lot of drawing and painting.
What's your favorite drawing or painting that you've ever done?
I like to do a lot of Spider-Man stuff.
Really?
That's, like, my favorite thing to
Why
draw.
is that?
I just love Spider-Man.
Did you like the most recent movies?
Oh yeah.
Who's the best Spider-Man? Tobey Maguire.
Tom Holland.
Is that the newest one?
Yeah.
What makes him the best? You're getting a little nervous, a little embarrassed. What makes him the best Spider-Man?
No, he's just my favorite. He's younger and he plays the character better.
She
Okay.
thinks he's hot.
There, I kind of was looking like that, but he is the best. I'll admit that. I think he is the best too. He plays the part the best. Well, all right. I think that should do it. You guys have a big tournament coming up in November, like we said, in Mexico. What are the dates on that? Do you know the
November
10th to the 17th.
10th to the 17th, and most of them will be streamed online somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So they are the World Junior Olympic Championships. Is that the right?
I don't
think
know.
they just call it
We
the
just
World
call it the World
Championships.
Championships. I don't know
Okay,
if that
so
actually-
Yeah.
look up World Junior Olympic Racquetball Champions. You'll probably find out where they're playing or when they're playing and how to watch them, because they're from Spokane. They go to University High School. They are playing for the country that we all live in. They're going to be wearing our colors. It's going to be awesome. They're going to do very well. But thank you for taking time out of your summer vacation, even though you guys are probably still working hard at Racquetball. But thanks for taking the time to come and talk about your guys' story. I really appreciate it. All right, that will do it for this episode of The Locker Room. We'll see who comes on next, but I appreciate you taking the time to listen about the Carvers.
In an increasingly polarized